2023 CR 2570B, State of Texas versus Joshua Cannon. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
Danny
Defense.
Callahan for defense.
And are you Joshua Cannon?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, you received all the discovery. Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Cannon, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of aggravated robbery? That's a first degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 5 to 99 years up to life in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, the involvement in this case involves two weaknesses: young man's poor judgment and also mental illness issues. In the court today is your father has been taking care of him and will continue to take care of him. Raise your hand. For a long time. He's under good supervision right now. There's a history between the complainant and the defendant. He helped raise both of them. The complainant is an antagonistic person throughout their life, getting on him. He took revenge and came back, and that's the case in front of you. That's over. That ain't going to happen anymore. This is not a stranger. This is basically stepchildren family problem.
I think that makes it worse that it's not a stranger. Why are you doing this?
Because he had threatened me before and had stolen stuff from me, and I just wanted to.
No, this reads like an entire setup. This girl named Jasmine Ruth Whitman, I guess invites him to go somewhere and it's a park and then you all show up.
I didn't have any contact with him. Did not text him. Did not call him.
Oh, you just ended up in the park. This is like the Warriors where people just end up in the park. I'm sorry, that movie is probably before your time. So you're telling me that people just end up at the park?
No. I stole my grandma's car and took it, and I took them with me to the park. And I made some poorly choices in what I did.
Well, so you steal your grandmother's car to go to this park. So somebody had to tell you, hey, we're meeting up at the park. That's where Cameron's going to be. Right?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know why people get before the court and then they're all fearful. Do you want to go to prison?
No.
I mean, because you can go to prison and the way you took his stuff, somebody at the prison will probably take your stuff. And then leaving him at the park in his underwear. That's all sorts of wrong. And this is supposed to be somebody you grew up with. So why are you doing this? And don't give me this story of Adam and Eve where it's all Eve's fault.
You're right. It's all my fault. I caused the situation.
So why?
Because he had done stuff to me in the past, choked me 2 or 3 times to where I passed out, stole stuff from me.
Oh, did you call the police?
No.
All right. So I don't have any proof of that. I just have you telling me that. Are you employed? What do you do in your life besides going to the park to rob somebody that's supposed to be like a brother to you because y'all were raised together?
mean, I go to church. I
Not learning what's happening in church. Do you go to church and actually listen to what's going on in church?
just
And do you just, as my grandmother would say, do you just leave the teachings in the church inside the church and then just break all the commandments?
I take it with me wherever I go.
Well, on this night, you broke a lot of commandments. You understand that? I think there's something called thou shalt not steal. Or did I just make that one up? I think that's one of the commandments.
7.
Thank you. So you did that. Are you employed? So what do you do?
I'm trying to look for a job, but I can't because I'm on house arrest.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get a job and help my grandpa and pay back the fines that I owe and pay back the money that I owe.
Did you graduate from high school?
No, I'm going to get my GED.
Do you have any children?
No,
Are you sure?
sure.
You don't have any children on the way?
No,
Are you sure?
yes.
All right. So defense, you were talking about mental health or something?
He does better with being supervised since his youth. I mean, he's young right now. And I take that as indicative that there is a deficiency.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. $2,000 fine. That'll be probated. 10 years deferred adjudication, restitution, and no contact with Cameron Jeremiah Morales. No contact with Jasmine Whitman or Manuel Mendoza. 250 hours of community service restitution, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular UAs. If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be? Here's the thing. You need to be honest with me because I'll have you drug tested right now. I know people see a female back there and they're like, oh, the female can't test me. We have male probation officers who are at court today, and all she does is she picks up the phone, calls them, and they do the UA.
Negative.
All right. When's the last time you used?
Last week.
All right. What are you using?
THC.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right. You're going to get tested today. And if it's more than that, we're going to have a problem. You understand?
Trust me, it's just THC.
Okay. All right. I'm going to want field visits. One time per month for every 3 months. Well, one time every 3 months. Proof of employment within 45 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Probation. If he needs some sort of job training to help him find employment, please do that. Is there anything else he needs?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
All right, there's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon, and I'm going to ask for anger management. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, Your Honor.
Any weapons in your household? We can go off the record. You're young. This could have turned out so much differently, right? It could have been worse than what it is, and you could be going to prison. From here on out, everything that you do in your life, every choice you make, you need to ask yourself, is this something that could result in me going to prison for life? If the answer is yes, don't do it. If the answer is maybe, don't do it. You understand? All right, good luck to you. E3CR 2073, State of Texas versus Stephen Errol Harding. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense.
Robert Mauer for defendant, Your Honor.
Are you Stephen Harding?
Yes, ma'am, I am, Your Honor.
All right, you're going to need to speak up so the court reporter can
Yes,
hear.
ma'am, Your Honor, I am.
All right, counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, I did.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Harding, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
All right, off the record for a moment. Do you understand you're charged with the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, after reviewing state's exhibits, one and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Judge, but asked to waive PSI.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, we submitted an affidavit from the complainant on the case. And she's seeking obviously to have the charges dropped. But my client wants to keep the no contact order in place because he thinks it's in the best interest of himself to maintain a no contact order with the complainant. We just asked the court to follow the agreement.
All right. Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
How many?
I have one son, he's 10.
And where is he?
He's with my mom right now.
And so where is his mother?
His mother, she's out there also. He's off and on with my mom and her back and forth.
When's the last time you had employment?
Excuse me?
When is the last time you had employment?
Employment, just before I got incarcerated, I was doing landscaping.
Landscaping appears to be the new West telemarketing. Attorneys who've been around know what I'm talking about.
Or the cabinet place that used to be.
Yes. So what's your drug of choice?
I don't do drugs anymore.
Well,
I did smoke weed.
all right. And what else?
That was really it.
So the fact that you have your weed missing and you think she's the one who took more of your weed, we're here for an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. As they say on Seinfeld, yada, yada, yada. I'm here for an aggravated assault on the deadly weapon. I need you to fill in the yada, yada, yadas for me.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's start over. We're going to pretend like this is my first time meeting you and you haven't answered any questions yet. So what's your drug of choice?
Weed.
So you're telling me all you ever do is weed?
No, I've done plenty of different drugs.
Oh,
but
what drugs have you done?
I've done methamphetamines, pills, and weed. That's it.
And when you say pills, what type of pills?
I used to take hydrocodone.
And if you were released, where would you be staying?
Back at my house with my mom.
Well, that's going to be a no. I'm not going to have you living at that home with a 10-year-old. I don't know what's going on in your situation with your life, but what I do know is you're using drugs, committing aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and there's a 10-year-old that keeps getting bounced back from home to home because his parents are not doing what they're supposed to do.
Well, really, it's not my mom's house, it's my sister's house. And he don't live there. He just comes over on the weekends when my mom comes over. So
I don't know what's happening in their household, but we can only hope for the best for the 10-year-old. I have no jurisdiction over him. So what is up with this tattoo on your neck? What is the God? What's the first part of that?
only God forgives.
Oh, okay. Sometimes people say you got to forgive yourself before you can forgive others. And then what is this dirty thing tattoo?
It's just, growing
Dirty
up
South?
From, yes, ma'am.
Are you from the South?
Yes, ma'am. I am. South Florida is the military.
South Florida?
Yes, ma'am.
South Florida is in military.
Oh, the street South Florida is in military.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
now they're calling that the dirty South
Yes,
because
ma'am.
you're on South Flores. So with any street in San Antonio that has South in front of it, that would be dirty South.
No, ma'am.
Okay, and these are questions I'm asked because I'm curious. I always want to know what's going on in the world.
I understand.
And what is the off on your,
It's only the family of here.
only the family?
Yeah, so on my face, really, I messed up. I understand that, but on my face is really my mom and my sister and my son and my kids. You know what I mean? That's it.
Okay, so what's this on the side?
This is my baby niece, Sophie. This is my sister, Tai Tai. This is my son, Gage. This is my mom, Lynn, and this is my nephew, Isaac.
And what is the Harry Potter crack going down?
Really, I got it because every time I got locked up, I break my head over the stuff I couldn't change.
Okay.
So that's what it represents.
All right, and what is this?
Forgive me.
Okay. To God.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And what happened over here? Why is there a knot over there?
It's a tumor.
All right. Have you seen a doctor about that?
Actually, I'm gonna get it cut out when I get out.
All right. You need to get that taken care of.
Yes, ma'am.
And I always ask about tattoos because it tells me a little something about you. I'm wondering, why do you have the tattoos that you have? And see, I would have thought Dirty South was something else, but now I've learned something. All right. This is what the court is going to do. As previously stated, the court is finding there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt, sentence you to 10 years deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Veronica. Again, no unsupervised contact with minors. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider with minors. I'm going to want a TAP evaluation. I'm going to have that done outside of custody. If you miss your TAP appointment, a motion to revoke will be filed and your attorney will tell you that.
Yes.
And it's going to be follow recommendations. If TAP recommends inpatient treatment, we'll try and first on outpatient treatment, see where we are. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. I'm going to want him to do the UA hotline until further notice. Field visits. One time every 2 months until further notice. The BIPP course. 200 hours of community service restitution. Parenting classes. And that can be with rainbows. Once you complete parenting classes, the court will deem the community service hours satisfied. Probation, is there anything else he needs?
On the treatment, on the outpatient treatment, is that intensive or supportive?
If they're asking for inpatient treatment, we're going to start with intensive outpatient treatment. All right. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to the attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
All right, we can go off the record. You have a son. I don't think you want your son to have trauma in his life, right?
That's correct.
So far, he's been getting trauma in his life. And the reason why he's been having trauma is because he doesn't have a good mom in his life, and he doesn't have a good father in his life, and he keeps getting bounced from place to place. If you're not going to get yourself together and be a person he can look up to, just get out of his life, because children do not understand when grown people make promises and they don't keep them. If it's an adult, if you say, oh, I'll be at your football game and you don't show up, an adult will understand. An adult will be like, oh, well. But if it's a child and you don't show up, they're constantly looking for you. And then other children are probably teasing them about your father said he would be here and your father's not here. So if you're not going to be a positive influence in his life, move on. The other thing, do not get involved in any more relationships until you work on yourself.
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
if you decide to get in a relationship, stop letting that person meet your publicist. Introduce yourself to them and tell them about all your baggage, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The key in this court to success on probation is communication. If there's an issue, let probation know. If you feel they're not addressing it, let me know.
Yes, Your Honor.
From here on out, everything you do in your life, you should be asking yourself, is this something that could result in me going to prison for 20 years? If the answer is yes, don't do it. If the answer is maybe, don't do it. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
All right, good luck to you and get that looked at, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.